Hi grade 12s, welcome back. In the last session we spoke about measuring volume, and in this session we're going to carry on and we're going to have a closer look at how we calculate perimeter, area, and then again how we calculate volume. So let's start off by having a look at perimeter. And the first thing you're probably asking yourself is, what is perimeter? Well, the perimeter is the total length of the outside of a shape. Or in other words, it's a continuous line that forms the boundary of a closed geometric figure or flat figure. So in other words, if I was going to walk the perimeter of a soccer field, it means I would walk around the whole outside of the soccer field. So I would start in one corner, walk down to the next, then across to the next, back up to that corner, and then back to where I started. I've walked around the entirety of the field. I have walked around the perimeter. So we calculate perimeter by adding the length of each side of that shape. So with my soccer field, I would go this side plus this side plus this side plus that side, and I would get a total perimeter. Now, perimeter measures length around the outside of an object, of something, so it is measured in millimeters or centimeters, meters, or even kilometers. Now, we can use different formula to calculate the perimeter of different shapes. So if we look next to me here, we can see I have a little table showing how we work out the perimeter of different shapes. So for a rectangle, we go 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Remember, opposite sides in a rectangle are equal. So where it's width plus length plus width plus length, or in other words, 2 times the width plus 2 times the length. If I have a look at the square, now a square is very similar to a rectangle because it has 4 sides, but with the square, remember, each one of the sides is the same length. So if I was to go one side plus the other plus the other plus the other, and the sides are all the same length, I could actually get the same answer just by going 4 times the length of one of the sides. So the formula for working out the perimeter of a square is 4 times the length of a side. Triangles unfortunately don't have an easy shortcut. We just have to add up the length of each side, or each length. So we would go the length 1 plus length 2 plus length 3. And then we get to circles. Now, the perimeter of a circle is often referred to as the circumference, and we can only work it out really by using the formula pi, which is a constant, 3.14, times 2 times the radius. And remember, the radius is the measure of length from the middle of the circle to the outside of the circle. The radius, remember, is half of the diameter. So I could also use the formula pi times diameter, and diameter is the length through the middle from one side of the circle to the other. So let's have a look at an example of calculating perimeter. Mrs. Lamini buys a new lampshade for a lamp. She measures the radius of the inside circle of the lampshade to be 50 millimeters. The diameter on the outside, or the larger circle, is 40 centimeters. Note that this diagram is not drawn to scale. Question 1, calculate the circumference of the smaller inner circle. Question 2, calculate the circumference of the larger outer circle in centimeters. Round off your answer to 1 decimal place. Number 3, calculate the perimeter of half of the larger outer circle. And number 4, calculate the width of the area shown by the dotted line in the diagram below. Okay, guys, let's get on to answering those 4 questions. So let's have a look at question 1. Now, question 1 we have 50 millimeters as the radius. Now, in this case, we want to take that radius and turn it from millimeters into centimeters. So we divide that 50 millimeters by 10. And we end up getting 5 centimeters. So, to work out then the circumference of the smaller circle, we're going to go the radius, 5 times 2 times pi. Okay, and if we do that, we end up, and I round it off to 1 decimal point, we end up getting a circumference of 31.4 centimeters. Number 2 then is the same sort of thing, except now we're working with the diameter of the large circle, and the diameter is 40 centimeters. So in this case, we're going to use the formula pi times diameter, and then we go pi times 40, and we get a final answer of 125,7. Now, number 3, we want the perimeter of half the larger outer circle. So we're just going to take our perimeter and divide that by 2, or we can multiply it by a half, and we end up with an answer of 62.8. I'm just rounding that off to 1 decimal point. Number 4. Calculate the width of the area shown by the dotted line. Now this dotted line shows the distance between the perimeter of the inner circle and the outer circle. So what we've got to do is, we know the radius of the small inner circle is 5 centimeters. We know the radius of the outer circle is half the diameter. Half the diameter is 40 divided by 2, 20 centimeters. So 20 centimeters minus 5 centimeters will give me 15 centimeters. Okay guys, let's go on and look at area. Okay guys, so area is the total space occupied on a flat surface, okay, on a two-dimensional plane. We can use different formula for finding the area of different shapes. And you probably remember a lot of these already. So to find the area of a rectangle, we go the length of the rectangle times the width of the rectangle. Okay, to find the area of a square, it's the same as a rectangle, length times width, but because the length and the width are the same in a square, we can just say that the area of a square is the side, length of the side, squared. A triangle, you can see a triangle is kind of like a rectangle or a quadrilateral that's been cut in half. So to find the area of a triangle, it's a half times the base of the triangle times the perpendicular height. And then finally, circles, like with perimeter, we need a special formula using pi to calculate these. And the area of a circle is calculated using the formula pi r squared. Let's go on now and have a look at a question using area. Your maths literacy classroom gets new tables shaped as shown in this diagram. Using the appropriate formula, calculate the area of the table in meters squared. If each table costs 615 Rand and 10 tables were bought, calculate how much the tables cost per meter squared. Hence, calculate the total cost of the tables and their total area first. Okay, so let's do the first part and use our formula to calculate the area of one table. Now, as you can see in the diagram, the table is made up of two triangles on the side and one rectangle. So we're going to find out the area of those two triangles, the area of the rectangle, and then add them together. So the area of the triangles will be a half times 500 millimeters times 70 centimeters. Let's change all that to meters. So it's going to be a half times 0.5 meters times 0.7 meters, and each triangle then is 0.175 meters squared. The rectangle, okay, we're going to go the length of the rectangle multiplied by the width or breadth of the rectangle. So the area in the middle there will be 0.9 meters times 70 centimeters. Change the 70 centimeters into meters. So 0.9 meters times 0.7 meters. And when we do that, we end up with 0.73 meters squared. Now what we need to do is add the area of those triangles to the area of the rectangle. So we're going to then go 0.175 meters squared plus 0.3 meters squared plus 0.175 meters squared, and we end up with a total of 0.98 meters squared. Okay, so far all good. Now the 10 tables, if we look at number 2, 10 tables will cost, we know one table is 615 Rand, so 10 tables then we go 615 Rand times 10 to get 6,150 Rand. So the 10 tables have a total area, we go 0.98 meters squared times 10, and we end up with 9.8 meters squared. So to work out per meter, we're going to go 6,150 Rand divided by 900.8 meters squared, and we find out that it costs 627 Rand and 55 cents per square meter for these tables. Guys, thank you for joining me in this lesson. If you want to get more practice at doing these kind of problems, visit the iWiz website at www.iwiz.co.za. Keep working hard, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.
We need to learn to live with the COVID virus, you know, the new normal, at least for the next few months. And we have just what you need to make sure you never miss a single school lesson. And it's absolutely free, mahala! High quality, powerful, animated lessons for all your subjects. So don't spend a cent until you have tried iWiz. It's everything you need. All video lessons, textbooks, workbooks, exam prep. We want you to ace 2021.